Dominica is one Caribbean island that's really not on the average tourist radar. I think that's because the island is more for the adventure seeker, for the one who wants an active hiking and snorkeling experience, so they can see some of the most unique natural sights in the world. Now, don't confuse Dominica with the Dominican Republic, because Dominica is a completely different island with a completely different vibe. The majority of the time, we saw so few people. We felt like we had the whole island to ourselves. So if you're looking for a quiet and peaceful island getaway, then I have 16 things that you need to know before you go to Dominica. All in this episode of Lucas World Travel. Well, hey world travelers, I'm Kendra Lucas.
And I'm David Lucas of Lucas World Travel, and we spent 2 weeks in Dominica, both sightseeing and working as digital nomads, as part of our 6-month journey through the Caribbean. Of the 7 Caribbean islands that we visited this year, Dominica is definitely one of the most quiet and most rustic, but that is what gives Dominica its unique charm. The island is not so busy, which makes it easy to enjoy the nature without noise, without crowds. It really is a refreshing change of pace. But that's the first thing you need to know before you go. While Dominica has a handful of fancy resorts, big crowds, and lots of busyness aren't really the vibe of the island. The only exception would be carnival time. But other than carnival, expect more small town, rural vibes. Now, we really did enjoy the small town vibe and found it peaceful and relaxing. But we know that small town vibe is not for everyone. So if you're a person that's looking for big, extravagant, loud, and boisterous parties, then this destination is probably not for you. This island is really for the person who likes peace, quiet, and to connect to nature. If that's you, then Dominica is the perfect destination for you.
Now, to get around Dominica, renting a car is best. While most of the roads are well paved, we do recommend getting a 4x4 vehicle for those few occasions when the road is bad and unpaved. It also makes driving in the mountains a bit easier as well. Now, we were especially glad to have 4-wheel drive going to places like Bamboo's Hot Springs, Syndicate Falls, and Scott's Head Viewpoint. Now, technically in Scott's Head, it is possible to park your vehicle and walk up the hill and to the beaches. So it is possible to still get around in a sedan if you prefer to get a small economy car, but definitely 100% if you want to go to Bamboo's and Syndicate Falls. Those were the 2 main places where you really do need a 4x4. In general though, car rentals on the island are a bit expensive, with 4-wheel drive vehicles starting at $50 a day US or $300 US per week. We booked our rental car with Courtesy Cars and can highly recommend them as an excellent car rental service. And even though the car rentals on Dominica are a bit more expensive than the other Caribbean islands, I definitely think it was worth it to have the freedom that a car provides. Plus, a car rental is a bit cheaper than having to pay for tours per person. Now, another thing to know about driving in Dominica is that they drive on the left side of the road. Dominica is a former British colony. They got their independence in 1978, but because of their history as a British colony, they still drive on the left. They also use Type G British-style electrical outlets, so be sure to bring the proper adapter for that.
To navigate around Dominica, we use Google Maps, but just know that Google Maps is not 100% accurate in Dominica. For example, in the capital of Roseau, Google Maps tried to send us down a one-way street, so we quickly learned that we could not follow Google Maps blindly. In addition, some destinations like Emerald Pool and Red Rocks are 200 to 400 meters from the Google Maps pin. So you'll have to follow signs to get to your destinations. Again, Google Maps is useful, but do not trust it 100% in Dominica. Also in Dominica, you will drive to some pretty remote locations. So it's best to download maps for offline use so that if you don't have data, you can still navigate the island easily.
Another unique thing about Dominica is that gas stations only take cash. There are only 2 gas stations on the entire island that take credit card, and we never found those gas stations. So it's best for you to just plan to use cash to get your gas. In addition, there are not that many gas stations on the island. Most of the gas stations are located on the western coast of the island, in the capital of Rousseau, and up north in Portsmouth. There are 2 gas stations on the eastern side of the island as well, but there are 0 gas stations on the interior of the island. So you definitely want to plan your road trips accordingly.
In general, though, most places in Dominica only take cash. Only a few establishments in the capital take credit cards, so you want to make sure that you get plenty of cash at the airport or at the cruise port in the capital and in Portsmouth. Other than these major hubs, you aren't going to find any ATMs anywhere else. The currency in Dominica is the Eastern Caribbean dollar, but the US dollar is still also accepted nearly everywhere as well. Most menus will be listed in EC. Most tourist attractions and places are listed in EC, USD, and sometimes even euros as well, but not as often. So it is possible to get by without getting any EC. You can pay for everything in US dollars as well if you prefer not to change money.
For sightseeing, we recommend getting the weekly National Park Pass, which lets you see all of the national park areas over 7 days for $12 US. Now this pass includes entrance into the Emerald Pool, Trevargle Falls, Indian River, Cabritz National Park, and Freshwater Lake, just to name a few. Without the pass, it costs $5 US per activity. So if you plan to do 3 or more national park sites, then definitely get the weekly pass. But if you want to see even more things to do in Dominica, then check out our 20 things to do in Dominica video as well. I have it listed in the description box below.
In terms of things to bring to Dominica, if you plan to do any hiking trails like Freshwater Lake or Boiling Lake, bring proper hiking shoes because those trails are quite strenuous and involve quite a bit of climbing on slippery, uneven ground. Water shoes are useful as well because the beaches on Champagne Reef and Scott's Head are very rocky. There aren't many sandy beaches on the island. I think Miro Beach is one of the few black sand beaches where you can actually lay out and relax. In general, most of the other beaches are for snorkeling. I also recommend that you bring your own snorkel and fins to snorkel at Champagne Reef and Scott's Heads Beach. There was one rental shop at Champagne Reef, which was closed for the day by the time we got there, and there's no rental shops in Scott Head. So it's better to bring your own so you can snorkel freely on your own schedule.
Another thing you should bring is a reusable water bottle, as tap water is safe to drink in Dominica, so you can fill up freely there. And you're gonna need that water for those hikes. Another thing you need to know is about road closures. While we were there in 2024, we could not get to the hot springs in Wootton Woven because of road closures. We also planned to go to Victoria Falls, but the road going through Stowe and Petite Savane was closed. So if you want to go to Victoria Falls, it's best to go all the way up north to the Emerald Pool and then down the eastern coast of the island to get there.
Dominica has an amazing island hopping ferry called Express des Îles, which connects you to the Caribbean islands like Guadeloupe, Martinique, and St. Lucia. Because these islands are very well connected by the ferry, it can be good to plan seeing even more beautiful Caribbean islands while you're in the area. The main language on the island is English, so it's very easy to communicate with everyone there. We only met one person who didn't speak English. Instead, he spoke the local Creole and some Spanish. So we were able to communicate with him that way. As a general rule, English is widely spoken on the island. Up to 3 days before you arrive, it's also good to fill out your electronic immigration arrival form. This will give you the QR code that you can show to immigration and customs to make your arrival day run even smoother.
Now, after 2 weeks in Dominica, the one thing we could never figure out is how to pronounce the country's name. So we've heard the English pronunciation is Dominica, and then the Spanish pronunciation is Dominica, but the French pronunciation that they say in Martinique is Dominique. So we were very confused. So if we're pronouncing your country name wrong, we apologize. There's a lot of debate on how to.
and actually a local told us the wrong thing too. So.
No, he said that both ways are correct. Dominica and Dominica.
Yeah.
So we came from Martinique, so they were calling it Dominique. So we're like, we don't know what to say. We don't know how to pronounce it. But Nature Island was such a cool place to visit, though. It was a place that wasn't even on our radar a year ago. But that's one of the main benefits I find of us traveling full time. We get to discover countries that we never would have considered before because we never had the time. By traveling slow as digital nomads, we now have the freedom essentially to take unlimited side quests and discover these beautiful places that we literally didn't know exist. We originally just wanted to go to St. Lucia, but when we saw how easy it was to island hop with the ferry, there's like, why not see these islands? We have time. Let's go ahead and see all 4 of these islands. So that is just one of those beautiful things about full-time travel. We never would have taken this trip if it wasn't for us doing this full-time travel thing as digital nomads.
I also wanted to say congratulations to Dominica because this year they won their first Olympic medal. So I think that's huge.
That is cool.
You know, it was our year that we visited there. It was also the year that they won. So congratulations to all of you for that.
But up next, we'll be sharing our tips for Guadeloupe, Japan, and South Korea. So be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more travel tips from the Caribbean and from all around the world. Until next time, check out our 20 things to do in Dominica on the right there. All right, world travelers, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sharing with all your travel pals, and happy travel planning until next time. Bye.